Welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhands. This is a very, very, very exciting episode for me personally, and for all of you that I know are going to learn something just by listening to this one. Please welcome overall badass, music and media connoisseur, Tori Kravitz in the building today. I am thrilled to have you. Welcome.
What an intro. No pressure now. Whoa.
It is,
Thank you. Thank
it's
you.
it's the absolute truth, and I mean, we want to keep that train rolling. We definitely want to keep that vibe going today. I'm thrilled to have you. What's going on today? How are you?
Gosh, today's been today's been a crazy one. I actually filmed my own podcast earlier today and
Mhm.
juggling that with the inbox of a lifetime on my end. So, well, inboxes really. So, just juggling the normal PR gig and podcasting and all the things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a good one.
I do want to put some respect on your name in that vein. Like, if you didn't know, Tori has all the jobs. Tori is Warped Tour bit reporter, podcaster, publicist for a lot of very active bands right now, documentarian, thanks to Beyond the Breakdown on Knotfest. Where are we finding the time for Tori? Are we okay?
It's a great question. That was like the New Year's resolution for this year is sort of making a little bit of time for myself. I think
Mhm.
it's tough when I actually love my job. I love what I do, and my music and work and all of that is my life. So, kind of differentiating that life versus okay, the inner world that needs to be taken care of is it's definitely something I have to make the time for and block off in my schedule or else it doesn't happen. So we're working on it.
Yeah, no, time blocking, absolutely. For me, I need my gym time. That's when I need, that's honestly when I get to listen to a lot of new music, and it might be for you too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I can cycle through it and see how I feel about what's new, what's coming, what, I want to be paying attention to. It's very important to block off that time. What else
hmm
is it for you that centers you and that makes you feel like you're taking care of yourself?
Yeah. I mean, like you, the gym's a big one. That's my time where I think sometimes it's important to get out of your head and into your body. And whatever that looks like for each person is totally different. It could be meditation, it could be yoga, it could be going for a walk, going to the gym. I actually, it's something I don't really post about, but I actually am figure skating. So
Stop. Come on, Tara
I
Lipinski. Come on.
so figure skating is actually one way that I kind of just get that movement in, and it's a time for me to just kind of lock in on myself and nothing. You can't think of anything else when you're on the ice or else you will fall.
You will bust your ass. Exactly. I've
You
done
will bust
both.
your ass.
You will.
Totally.
I've done, I mean, for fun, I used to figure skate and then I tried hockey skates. And then I realized
Mhm.
those are another world, much more difficult.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And either way, you just got to lock in.
You do.
And I also love to read books. I love
Yeah.
fiction books. And I think especially a lot of my work is tied to writing. So reading is it never hurts.
Right.
So I love to read as well.
No, me too. I just got into Slash's biography not too long ago. I've been meaning to read it for
Fun.
years. I love to do that just because I'm a music nerd. I know you feel the same way. But do you ever find that it's a little bit challenging to kind of separate like pleasure and business because it's so closely tied together for you, like it is for me?
Yes and no, because I honestly do find pleasure in the business, like especially when I'm out at a music festival. And even though that's work, right? Because I'm in the media area coordinating God knows how many band schedules, but I also love it so much. It's all the people I love, it's the music I love. So it's very intertwined, although I have moments where it can get stressful, but I always come back to loving it. And also, honestly, in my recreational time, the music I listen to tends to be a little bit different than the bands on my PR roster. So that
Stop.
also helps.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that too because I was getting that vibe, and I'm like, I'm the same way. Give me some '90s R&B. Give me to early 2000s Ja Rule, Ashanti, J Lo. Give me
Ashanti.
yes. We go deep. We put some respect on
Whoa.
Ashanti and Nelly's name. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. That was the for me. That was you and I are close in age, I think. So we're probably gonna get this. But in middle school, like those were the bops, and those were the ones where you had to like keep Jesus between you. Like
Yeah.
that's when you got yelled at for not keeping Jesus between you because it just doesn't happen when Ja rolls on. It just doesn't.
I get it. I get it. I mean, I was not the kid at the dance who had to worry about that. I was the one in the corner just like observing, but I understand the sentiment 100%.
Oh yeah, that it was a fun time. It was that. It was Avril Lavigne. It was Good Charlotte. It was all of that, and you got to dive in when it comes to everything that you've done since with Warped Tour and just the million other projects. In the most
Mhm.
respectful of ways, I do have to tell you, I've been watching you for years, going that I want to do that,
Oh,
and seeing another girl do it close to my age made me believe that it could happen. We know this
yeah.
industry. Like, we know that a lot of girls have to endure a lot of different things. We've heard the naysayers, we've heard the challenges that some women face in this industry. I always get asked, where do you get the balls just to do it? Like when
Hmm.
somebody wants to come to me for any type of opinion. So I just say no wasn't an option for me when I'm responding
Yeah.
to that question. Like public speaking, interviewing, there always felt like it just this innate calling to it that I felt I had to answer. This environment, this scene, it's just where I have always felt the most at home. And I
Hmm.
have wanted to
Hmm.
bask in it. And I know you feel the same way. So I do want to ask you the same question. Where did you find the balls to break into the industry to begin with? And how did you do it? What was your version of that?
Yeah, you know what? I think for many, many years, I didn't have the balls. I was going into every interview with my hands shaking, and I was so
Yeah.
nervous and very self conscious. You could look, I mean, my entire career is documented because I started on YouTube as I had my own YouTube channel and I did it very DIY at the age of 15. Those first interviews are online, and you could see in my demeanor how shy I was. And I honestly, it came from forcing myself to be brave in those moments and take the plunge anyway,
Yeah.
that over many years you develop it, you know? And now I don't get nervous for interviews anymore. It's so second nature, but it wasn't like this God-given talent that was so natural or like I was just born brave. I think in doing the things I was afraid of, it became something I wasn't afraid of, you
It's
know.
like,
But I loved it. I loved it. And like you do it because you love it.
yeah, and then eventually it does become a little bit like riding a bike. Once you do it a little bit more often, you build that confidence. That's the thing that I think, especially the younger you are, that's what I feel everybody struggles with in the very beginning when they want to do this or they want to do their version of it. And not just, media, music too, or anything really. You can apply that to any industry. The first couple times you do it, you don't have the confidence to do it yet. So, how did you build that confidence?
As painful as it was, I watched every interview I did back. I
Oh,
took
okay.
notes of what wasn't working. And I think it's important to listen to yourself. So I would listen to myself of, oh, wow, after every question, I'm not really commenting on their answers. I just keep going, so, and then going into the next question. Or I would notice my body language wasn't the greatest. Or, oh, why was I looking this way? I should have been looking this way. Or my seat, I should have been sitting on this end instead of over here, and just kind of making notes and learning as I went. But I'm sure anyone who's ever had to record themselves know it is like nails on a chalkboard to hear your own voice. I would sit there like completely contorted and cringing at it. But through that, it got better over
Exactly.
time.
So was anybody telling you that these were sort of the do's and don'ts as you were going, as you were learning? Or were you watching
Mhm.
yourself back thinking, that's not natural to me, and I'm just going to go with what feels natural? Like I wouldn't do that if this was a conversation that wasn't recorded, and I don't want to be doing that.
It was a little bit of both. I mean, I definitely watched, I used to observe a lot of TV personalities. I mean, it's not aging well, but I used to watch like Ellen DeGeneres. I watched
Yeah, I
Wendy
get it.
Williams
We all did.
and these talk show hosts. I watched The View and people that I thought were like good hosts or good public speakers. And I would try to emulate them or just see what I liked about each person and implement that within my own personality. I also was very lucky. It's so random. My mom is a real estate coach, which I know sounds like it wouldn't translate, but a lot of what she teaches is public speaking, or at least speaking on the phone and creating rapport and sales. which can kind of translate to interviewing. So sometimes my mom would see them and be like, girl, that's bad. Fix that.
Oh,
You know, like certain inflections in my voice she would catch, or, she filmed my first interviews with me. So we would be in the car and I'd be rehearsing the questions with her. And so she was a big supporter in the beginning too.
that's very, very, very crucial. I was fortunate enough to have parents that were encouraging in that way too. They sort of just picked up on it. They were like, "You naturally speak just like really well. I think do something with that." And then by the time
That's
our
wonderful.
like really, yeah, we need that. Because you don't know if nobody tells you. You might have a
Mhm.
theory, you might have an idea of what you like to do, but when you get that validation, it opens a whole other door. That is
Yeah.
so, so important in life. Correct me if I'm wrong, but switching gears a little bit, I wanted to chat about your initial stuff with Warped Tour. We
Mhm.
know that the big, big, big to do last year was its return. So
Yeah.
I'm imagining that it had to be hard as hell to keep that secret and that you might have
Oh,
been one of the first people that knew before all of us did.
I actually had been hearing inklings about the comeback even before I was told officially. I mean, just being in the
Oh,
industry, you hear little things.
yeah.
I literally, I was really hoping it to be true. I think there's a part of me that was like, is it? And then when I honestly, you know how it happened. I got a random text from Kevin Lyman saying, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And I went,
Oh boy.
I saw it pop up the second it popped up, and I waited like 2 minutes before responding, so I didn't look insane. And I was like, "Yeah, of course, give me a call." He goes, "Hey, Tori, you looking for a gig?"
Gee, I wonder
I
why
don't know.
I'd be getting
Actually, I
this
think
call. Hmm.
you
Or
know what? No,
hmm.
no, Kevin Lyman, I don't need a gig.
I'm gonna
Of
say no to
course.
you. Yeah. Like what?
And then I had to hold that secret for a while. That was painful for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, so what have you noticed, or maybe there is no difference. Are there any differences that you've noticed from your time when you initially got that start to the time that we're getting back into with Warp now? Or like that I'm talking about that transition. Are
Do
you
you mean do you mean as far as like my role or as far as
your
the
role?
festival goes?
Your
My
role. Has
role
your role changed? Has it looked different first go around
completely.
compared to this? Okay.
Oh my God, it's a completely different role other than the name pit reporter. When I did it in 2015, it was a one-man show, one woman show.
Yes.
I filmed every video myself, edited everything myself. The social media posts were me. I had all the logins to the Warp Tour page, and it was just okay, go. I had to make my own schedule. I had to coordinate with every tour manager, coordinate with every sponsor, nonprofit, get out there and just do the thing.
Right.
Um, so it was a very DIY position, just the way Warp Tour was a very DIY tour in many ways. Now I have a full video crew. I have a videographer, an audio person, I have an editor because we're doing, instead of it being video blogs, they're little reels, as anyone who's seen
Mm.
the socials have
Mhm.
seen, and they're in collaboration with Hot Topic. So all of the ideas have to be prepped in advance, approved by the team, coordinating with the video team. And all of it is a much quicker turnaround time. When I was doing the pit blogs, it was also a quick turnaround time. It was usually same day or next day those videos are going out. But now it's 1 to 2 hours
Wow.
and 4 to 5 I think it was 4 reels a day per day of Warp Tour. So in each of those, you could see our big compilations of many interviews, many content pieces. So it's really a couple hours of filming in about a 1 minute video that has to go out in the fastest turnaround time. So it was me out there with the team filming, dropping content, filming, dropping content, filming, drop one last content. Now get the approval on the edit and go back out and keep going. It was truly pack some protein bars. You're not eating lunch or dinner. Go. Doing Warp Tour in those early days really prepped me for the pace and intensity of it now. Um, it built the grit for what I'm doing now, 100%.
So, and it sounds like the pacing, just in general, the pacing is not something that's changed. It's always been very
No,
fast paced then
yeah,
versus now.
it takes a certain type of person to do this job. I think it's funny when people are like, "How do I become the pit reporter?" I'm like,
Do you
I'm not
want
saying
this?
no. I'm not. I know it's one of those things where I think people don't understand the intensity of what goes on back there to make it happen, and how much goes into each of those videos. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. So if you want to be a pit reporter, buckle up. You
Yeah.
know, it's not as it is glamorous in many ways. I love the work I do, but it also um takes a certain type of person who just loves it. You have to love it.
Yeah. And just be willing to be open and available. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
As
I
flexible as
mean,
you possibly can.
that's the thing. I make a schedule going into the day. The schedule never goes
You
the way the schedule is written. So you have to be really on the fly about it too, 100%.
It's not scheduling. The schedule doesn't always schedule. It
The
doesn't.
schedule is not it's just a idea.
It
It's just a proposal.
guidelines. I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people know this about you too, but you are, this is kind of an industry related question. You're based in Florida,
Mhm.
and everybody that doesn't know any better would think everything you do is happening in New York, in LA. How does Florida fit into a conducive, like, and constructive, how does that help keep up with everything that you have to do? Are you working from
Yeah.
home, or is most of what you do, can it be done remotely?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me at a funny time because I'm not going to be in Florida for much longer, but I'll be making some posts about that
Oh,
soon.
okay.
But I travel a lot. I'm out in LA usually a few times a year, and I do find that that's really where the industry is these days. Thankfully, especially in PR, it's all done remotely. It's mostly done remotely. I travel out for a couple festivals each year to be on site with our bands. Um, Interviews can like the podcast can get a little tough because I'm very tied to artists touring schedules and when they're
Mhm.
coming to Florida to be able to film in person. So that's why I sometimes fly out to LA to film episodes, or wherever I'm traveling will make it work. But
Mhm.
I think I've gone as far as I can go in Florida. But
Got it.
it's a lot can be done no matter where you are if you're willing to get a little crafty online.
Yeah. And keep that flexibility and openness that we've been talking about. I
Hmm.
completely understand. It makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
I
So,
can't credit Orlando for my success, but it's not impossible.
do you feel like it's a part of you? Like it helped you maybe get yourself out there, helped form who you are as a person, and helped you connect with other people? Because you're meeting people from all walks of life. You're meeting people from all over the world, really, with this industry.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say my location has defined me. I mean, I love Orlando and, a lot of I think as long as you're in a major market where touring comes through,
Mm.
you can network. You just got to get out to shows.
Reflecting on your experience then to now, what would be some general do's and don'ts for making it either in music or in media? We covered a few of them already, like the flexibility, the openness,
Mm.
start there, put yourself out there. Networking is important. When it comes to music or media, separately, together, general do's and don'ts that you've learned along the way.
Hmm. I feel like the first thing that comes to mind for me is don't act too cool. I think this industry can be a magnet for egos or a
Mm,
magnet for people who want to be too cool. And this is just an industry of outcasts and people who love art and music. And I think there's no place for acting like you're above it because we're all here because we love it. So just tell people you love it. Be enthusiastic. I don't think enthusiasm takes away from credibility. So honestly, people want to work with passionate people. I'm passionate. If I love music, I don't care who it is. I mean, it's funny, the first year I did Warped Tour, I was a huge Asking Alexandria fan. Every single day I was side stage watching their set. And they were appreciative, because I was
right.
there being supportive and it was never seen as something frowned upon. So be a fan, be enthusiastic. I would say also though, be a good hang. Especially if you're wanting to be a touring artist, people want to tour with people who are good company because you're living together, you're in very close quarters together, so just have good etiquette and good manners. What else? I don't know. It's such a broad question.
It is. It totally is. But I love
Yeah.
the answer. I love hearing about what you're passionate about. I know that you're also absolutely passionate about your podcast, She's with the Band. There's evidence in that alone that you value championing women in music
Mhm.
specifically. I know it's important to you. I just wondered if you thought that protecting the female voice in this industry, is it something that you still think is absolutely necessary as a culture, or do you think maybe we're on the right path when it comes to giving women, men, however you identify, equal recognition and validation in music?
Firstly, from a host standpoint, I got to say that was a great segue.
I might
um,
have done this a few times.
I think it's both, right? Like, I think I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. Of course, there has been progress. There is great progress. There are way more women on stage and behind the scenes than there were when I started. But at the same time, I think we still have some progress to make.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me, what's important with the podcast too is not just uplifting female voices, but giving femme people a safe space to share things that maybe with a male host or in a different context are uncomfortable. I think that's been one of actually the biggest takeaways of She's the Band. It's not just that we're spotlighting women, but the conversations we're having are so productive because they feel safe, they feel heard. I mean, I'm in there with them with a lot of the same struggles or a lot of the same battles we're fighting. And so we're able to just have these very candid conversations. I think Tatiana from Ginger is a really great example of someone who doesn't do a lot of press, who doesn't necessarily, I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but probably doesn't trust the press because they haven't always been kind to Ginger. And it took a long time to get her into the podcast studio. And I had to really earn her trust through meeting her a few times and having some good interactions. And the way that we spoke to each other was with such respect and grace. And it was such a gentle conversation. And I think that's also missing in the press because we're all just looking for a headline or clickbait. And when do we just get to have authentic connection?
Yeah. How do you block out that noise and say, I'm going to create this content in a way that feels true to me, Tori, and not listen to that external pressure from higher ups, whoever, that would push the
Yeah.
clickbaity, like we need to be doing that?
I mean, I understand the game, right? Like, I understand the value of getting something exclusive and something special. And I don't ignore that. I just think there's a way to do it tastefully and kindly.
Yeah.
So I think it's like it's not a bad thing to want news, to want an exclusive in your interview, or to want a
Mhm.
kind of bit of juicy gossip that maybe other interviewers don't get. But there's a way to do that respectfully without I don't know, impeding an artist's boundaries, right?
Yeah, right. No, I totally, absolutely get that. I call that kind curiosity. And
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. There, coming up, I'm going to have an interview with Alexandra, who is an artist that is an immigrant to this country. Now, I'm based in Minnesota. We got a lot going on as far as that in that realm right now. So
Yeah.
I made it a point to say, hey, for the for anybody that doesn't know, walk me through what your story is so that we can learn what the immigration process in this country actually looks like and what it is
Hmm.
that you actually had to go to. I approached it from, I would rather learn from you. If I were to talk to Tatiana from Ginger, I would be like, I feel for you and everything that's going on with Ukraine. Absolutely. And I would love to say, hey, give us a Ukrainian perspective. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Hmm.
That to me, I think is a pretty safe and kinder approach. That would be one way to do it.
Yeah. And then you would hear their response and gauge where you go from there
Hmm.
based on that. If they don't want to talk about it, you keep moving. Or if they do want
Right.
to talk about it, you can share that with them, right? So I think that's the thing with interviewing in general is using your intuition and being a good listener.
Yeah.
So
Do you find that just getting to know more people, getting to talk to more people in general makes you better at being able to read them?
mm, interesting question. I don't know. I mean, I suppose probably naturally, it's not something I've ever really thought about. I think I just really try to go into each interview prepared in my questions, prepared in my research, so that all I'm doing in the moment is being present. So I don't
Hmm.
know that I'm necessarily trying to read someone. I think I'm just trying to be with them,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
wherever their energy is, I mean, I remember the first time I met Tatiana, she was not in a good spot that day.
Yeah.
And I personally was fangirling inside because I freaking love Ginger.
It's
And I
hard.
wanted to just give her a hug and be like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. But I felt it. And so I just met her where she was at. I was low key,
Yeah.
I was quiet, and I said what I needed to say to make her comfortable. It wasn't about me in that moment.
Hmm.
So I think more so, I don't know if it's about reading people, but maybe reading them in the sense that I've learned how to be present with someone, because when you're able to match someone's energy, that's how you make somebody feel comfortable and you build rapport.
Yeah. I can't be present if I don't regulate my emotion first. I think that's true for just about any
Exactly.
two. So because I've had the pleasure of meeting somebody like Lizzie Hale, for example.
Yeah.
I've met Lizzie, that huge fangirl moment for me, being not just, another alternative girly, but like a Pennsylvanian as well. Like she's
Hmm.
everything. So when I met her for the first time, I remember having to tell myself, keep it cool, keep it cool, keep it cool. She's very friendly, she's chill, she's a good hang. Everybody in the world says she has the most wonderful reputation. Just enjoy it and take a seat and let it be what it is. Like don't don't get crazy.
Yeah. And
Scale it back.
that's it.
You've had Lizzie on too. You've had, so you
Hmm.
know all these things. And
Yeah.
so that was going to be one of my questions to you as well, is when you know that you're about to interview somebody that you are a fan of, how do you regulate that, your emotion?
Mm. It's a good question. I mean, I think it's natural to have excitement. I'm not going to like damper that, right? Or pretend it's not there. I think it's just important to remember they're a person,
Mhm.
Like it's a
That's the
person.
huge yes.
And maybe for like 2 seconds, there's like a little fluttering in my chest. And then, as soon as you meet them, you're like, oh, you're here because you want to talk to me. Like
Mhm.
you have to remember you're kind of in some ways, of course, you can respect and admire the person, but to put them on a pedestal just isn't necessarily productive. I remember being very nervous for the Lizzie interview. She rolled up
Really?
and she had security with her, and she was chauffeured in like a black van to the podcast studio from the arena she was playing. And I was like, oh geez, this is a whole ordeal. Normally it's not that fancy. And her security's outside of the room the whole interview. I'd never really seen anything like it. But at the same time, I think it comes back to presence, right? It comes back to be in the moment, because I think a lot of the fluttering and panic that can happen when you meet somebody of status is based on like the past hysteria, right? But if you are just
Mm.
sitting in the room locked in the moment with that person, it goes away.
Yeah. Remembering that they're human, they have the same struggles, emotions, and things to talk about too. People always ask me this question. You might get it too. How do you come up with what you're going to talk about?
Mm,
And yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done, depending on what the vibe is that day.
yeah.
You, whatever it is, it is. But so what does your prep look like? How do you make sure that you feel like you're going to have a successful interview and a successful interaction, not just for yourself, but for everybody that's going to watch too?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I usually will start with the basics. Like, I'll just get a recent press release and the artist bio and look at that and be like, okay, well, what are the main talking points they're promoting right now? What are they working on? Blah, blah, blah. What are the main pieces? But really, where the nitty gritty of my prep comes in is watching previous interviews, because I first of all want to make sure I don't ask questions that have already been asked, because that's a waste of everyone's time. If you can find it
Hard.
online, I'm not asking it.
It's hard not to do that. It's hard.
It is. It is. For me, it's like it's watching dozens of interviews. I can't watch every interview. As you know, have many jobs, but I watch as many as I can, and will not ask a question that's already been asked. And a lot of my questions do come from missed opportunities of previous interviewers. So if I'm watching an
Mm,
interview and I hear an answer, and then that interviewer doesn't follow up on a really great answer, I go, hey, in your this one interview you did, you said this. I want to talk about what you said there. You
yeah.
know, like sort of a missed opportunity where I'm like, that was a really interesting thing they said. Why did the interviewer skip over it? Let's go back. So that sometimes can be a piece of the puzzle too. And then sometimes it's just my own natural curiosity of the artist. Like I did an interview today, which will come out in a couple weeks, with someone that I just genuinely had some questions.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, okay, well, my own curiosity is going to come into play here too.
I love asking the fun questions too, just to try and get a taste for that, just to try and get a feel for that.
Yeah.
Basic, very, very easy. I mean, some might call them softball questions, but to me, I think they're human. Things like favorite food. What have you been eating lately? Or what was the best at craft services today? Or what other artists are you listening to right now? I
Yeah,
love asking
that's
those
always
types of
so
questions.
hard for me because I somehow turn my interviews into like therapy sessions. I don't know what happens.
That's
We just
good.
start getting real, and you know what? I need some softball questions. I need to lighten up.
Okay, I'll give you one now. What are you listening to lately? You did just post not too long ago about some of the singles you've been listening to. Mirror was mentioned. Freaking love Mirror.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
incredible. I had the pleasure of seeing her open up for Enslaved a couple years ago.
cool.
And yeah, badass, amazing artist. So who else is on
Yeah.
your radar right now?
I literally have to go into my Spotify. It's like that horrible, like, what am I listening to? I will say I did just see Hillary Duff on her Small Rooms tour, so I have been digging into some
Jealous.
Hillary Duff. I'm not
Ah.
gonna lie. Um, let's see what else is in here. All kinds of random stuff. I did have Frail on my podcast recently. I love their album Heretics and Lullabies. I just love doom metal in general.
Yeah.
It's not out actually. Oh my God, it came out today. That's crazy. The new Mayhem record.
Hell
The
yeah.
new
Yeah.
Mayhem record is really so if you want some black metal. There's always a few go-tos I have. There's a band called Alcest. So they're like a French black gaze band that are
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Adjacent to that, a band called Mole. I think they're from Denmark.
Yeah.
They're awesome and releasing new music. I just get into a lot of really depressing metal,
Yeah.
honestly. And then Hillary Duff.
Yeah, and then Hiller, that is the millennial experience. That range. Period. No,
Thick.
no, I've got it on lock. I do too. Like everything from Typo to Hillary, or I have tickets to Opeth this coming week.
Oh,
Like,
amazing. Love Opeth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, icons. I've
Yeah.
had,
Gojira is always on a loop for me as well. Always love them. You know,
yeah,
the huge.
the the huge, absolutely. I'm stoked to see them. Outcast, I have a funny story of because I got to see them open for Opeth. This must have been maybe 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. This was like a while ago. And I inadvertently was talking to their drummer at the bar without realizing it, just making conversation. And I was like, "Hey man, this is a vibe. We're having a good time. Blah 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 blah. You have an accent. Where are you from? I'm from France. I'm the drummer. Oh, oops. Like,
I've done things
just
like
so
that too. I don't even
yeah.
want to name who this happened with. It was like a very high caliber metal band at Welcome to Rockville. I did the same thing. I was like, oh, so who do you play with? And I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. I'm a dumbass, you know?
I'll see
It
myself out.
happens though. It
Yeah,
happens.
it does.
You
It's
can't even
funny.
see the drummer from the crowd sometimes. They're so far back. That's not your fault.
No, no, no. Well, and that particular night was my very first time seeing them ever. But that's kind of one of my favorite parts about going to shows too. I would not have known. Opeth got me in the door, but I now I love Outcast too because I've seen them and I got to experience that music. Wayfarer is another band. They have their very cool, sick American take on black metal. It's Western, it's cowboys, and it's like, whoa, if an American did black metal, this is what it
Wait,
is.
what are they called?
Wayfarer, they're very badass.
There.
They're
I'm
another,
sold.
yeah, no, I love those. I call them happy accidents, like Bob Ross style. They open for somebody else that I had bought the ticket to see, and then you end up falling in love with them because you watched them open. Are you a believer in that?
Yes, everyone should get to shows at doors.
Yeah.
You're
What?
missing the best part of the show. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, of all of your projects, what are you most proud of? That loaded
Big
question, I know.
question.
Loaded.
Oh my God, my whole life just flashed before my eyes. You know what was actually really, really wild for me was working for Chevelle.
Wow.
Working for
Yeah.
Chevelle was one of those moments where I went, oh, I'm the fan in the rider's seat or in the driver's seat now. Like I'm scheduling interviews for Pete now. What's happening? And I remember it was Welcome to Rockville last year was the first time I got to meet them. You know, we'd been on emails forever. And every time they would come in my email inbox, I'd kind of giggle a little like, this is so cool.
Mhm.
And then when I met him, it was my first, I'd seen Chevelle live so many times, loved their music. And it was one of those moments where I had to play it cool. And then afterwards I was like, but I feel really proud to have their trust and to be qualified to work with them. And I know I did right by them and did a good job. And to me, I think if you had told me a few years ago I would work for Chevelle, I would have found that daunting and impossible. So I think it's exciting to see the growth that I was able to take on a campaign like that successfully. And even just I worked the new Mayhem record that just came out, and that was another one where, huh? you
Right.
know, it's just
Legends.
these crazy things, legends, and I just feel so honored to have their trust, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's really really cool.
What are you excited about moving forward? Is it Warped? Is that the biggest thing going on in your world right now? I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean Warped for sure. I love working with Warped Tour. To me, they know anything they want, I'm there. Yeah, I love working with them and should be doing some stuff for them this year. It's still kind of what it will be. I'm not sure yet, but I know I will be there in some capacity. And I think just in general, like I love the work I'm doing now, and I think this is the first time in my life where of course, I always aspire for more. I'm always open to opportunities for more, but I think I'm just so happy in the moment and what I'm doing that I'm not so much looking at the future. I'm just so excited about the moment. So
Yeah,
we're rocking it right now,
I
which
love that.
is nice.
I'm getting that theme, and you earned it. And it sounds like there was a
Thank
lot
you.
of sounds like there was a lot of trust building involved to get where you are. It sounds like there
Yeah.
was a lot of communication involved. Like I know we that's what it says on our degrees, but like literally that is the essence of what it is communication.
Yeah. I think I spent a long time being the outsider in the industry. I mean, again, I started at 15. It was not taken seriously at 15, and I understand why. And even doing my first Warp Tour, I was 18 or 19.
Hmm.
So it's still very young, and it took a long time to pay my dues. And I always wondered, when do I get to the point where I'm taken seriously or feel like I'm truly a part of it? And honestly, I think it happened in the last 4 or 5 years. Like it
Wow.
took a long time for people to realize I'm not going anywhere. And truly, I think the knowledge of music and the knowledge of the industry can only come with time.
Right. And
Yeah.
experience and the willingness to keep going, the willingness to keep that's a big part of it. The willingness to keep showing up. How do you
Mhm.
show up on days when you feel like you just don't want to? Because we all have those.
Yeah. Well, for me there's just no choice, there's just no
Mhm.
choice. But I'm trying to remember there's a difference between motivation and what's the other word that I'm looking for, discipline. There's a
Mhm.
difference between motivation and discipline. And motivation it fizzles, right? Like motivation comes and goes, it's not reliable. But I think developing discipline of on it's really, in my opinion, the days when you don't want to go are the days when it's most important to go,
Yeah.
right? Like it's the same for the gym, it's the same for eating healthy, it's the same for work, it's the same for
Yeah.
everything. And so I'm a human, right? Like I have days where I really don't want to show up, but I also try to remember the younger version of myself who would have killed for
Mhm.
what I have now. Do it for her. If not for present day me who doesn't want to do it for her.
Yeah, I would do well to remember that more times. I would love to just be showing up in a bunch of different ways, showing up more often, experiment a little bit more, up our game. I think anybody that has a passion for what they do, they feel that. They want that.
Hmm.
They want to capture that. They want to keep that. So I will take that with me, and I will take all of the nuggets that you have given me with our time together. I so appreciate your time, Tori. Thank you so much. I can't wait
Of
to see
course.
what you do next. I know there's more coming. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is a pleasure. You're so great. That was wonderful.